Hello everyone, I welcome you all in this lecture series on transportation engineering. This is lecture number 23. From past two lectures, we are talking about different pavement materials. In this lecture, we will talk about binders which we use in flexible pavement and how do we prepare a mix using these binders. So let us talk about the binders for flexible pavement. The most important binder which we can use here is bitumen. Bitumen in British terms can also be termed as asphalt. Sometimes the mix of bitumen and inert aggregate is termed as asphalt, but in India, the general term which is used for the binder is bitumen. Bitumen is obtained by fractional distillation of petroleum crude. It is obtained by fractional distillation of petroleum. You know that in refineries, different products are obtained from crude because of their different boiling temperatures. Like gasolines, naphthalene or naphtha, kerosene, light oils, heavy oils, and what left behind as residue having the highest boiling point is your bitumen. So we know that the bitumen has comparatively highest boiling point if we compare these materials. So this is the fractional distillation. At the same time, we have tar. Tar is obtained from destructive distillation of wood and coal or coal. What is fractional distillation? Fractional distillation is done, or the distillation done, or the burning done in presence of oxygen, and destructive distillation is done in absence of oxygen. If we compare bitumen with tar, bitumen is high water resistant, this is less water resistant. Bitumen has a specific gravity. We will talk about the specific gravity later on also. But for comparing, we can write the specific gravity of bitumen as, and specific gravity of tar is comparatively higher. Bitumen can be mixed with, or it is soluble in, calcium disulfide or calcium sulfate or calcium tetrachloride, whereas the tar is soluble in toluene. You know what is toluene? So this is the differentiation between bitumen and tar. We will talk about bitumen a lot, but to differentiate it from tar, we have discussed the points here only. Now, if bitumen is mixed with, now this residue, if it is mixed with some solvent, some volatile solvent, then this is known as a cutback. We will talk about the cutback. If this residue is mixed with water and emulsified, it is known as bitumen emulsion. And if this bitumen is mixed with some materials like your crumb rubber or plastic. So there is modification in this bitumen. So the binder is known as modified binder. These are the pavement materials or pavement binders which can be used with aggregates in order to make a proper flexible pavement mix. Let us go through the terminology which we will see in this lecture. First one is bitumen. You know what is bitumen? Bitumen is a viscous liquid having solid constituents essentially of hydrocarbons. We know that from where this bitumen is obtained. So we know it will contain a hydrocarbon and their derivatives. It is soluble in carbon disulfate and so, sustainably non-volatile. It will not turn into vapors easily, as we have already seen that it has higher boiling point, so it will not be volatile, and it softens when heated. It has black or brown color. So these are major properties of your bitumen. Bitumen can be obtained from petroleum, as we have already seen the process, from refineries. It can also be obtained from natural way. Like lake in Trinidad has a deposit of natural bitumen. It can be known as, or it is known as rock asphalt also. The straight run bitumen, as we talked about the residue which we find in the bottom, this is known as straight run without any mixing. Now the bitumen whose viscosity has not been adjusted by blending or by softening with cutback or other methods, because the residue which we find, it is thicker. To use it, we need to reduce its viscosity. To reduce the viscosity, we can heat this material. As we know, it will turn soft after heating. We may mix some volatile solvent, we may mix water. If nothing is done with this bitumen, it is known as straight run. Blown bitumen is one of the bitumen which is blown with air, means air is passed through, or heated air is passed through this bitumen. What heated air does, it helps in aging of bitumen. With aging, the bitumen gets stiffer, it gets stronger. So when we want to use bitumen at the locations where acceleration and deceleration of vehicle is being done, like at intersections, at rotaries, we provide mustic pavement. You must have seen the kind of pavement in which blocks of bitumen mixed with fine aggregates are placed, and some bigger aggregates are placed in order to increase the friction. So that those blocks are made up of your blown off bitumen, because it is stiffer. It will resist the shear strength produced because of the acceleration or deceleration of the vehicle. Aging of binder, we have already discussed in blown bitumen. The aging can be because of storage, transportation, mixing, placing, or due to oxidation itself, that the bitumen becomes stiffer and viscous. It will become stiffer and viscous. This occurs because of the oxidation, and we know that while we blow air through it, it will oxidize, so it will age. This is the artificial process of aging in order to make bitumen stiffer. Now asphalt term is used for bitumen itself, or sometimes bitumen mixed with inert matter like aggregates. In British language, we use bitumen as asphalt, or the bitumen mix as asphalt. What is bituminous mixture? Bituminous mixture is nothing but mixture of bitumen, the binder, with the aggregate. This mix can be a bituminous spores, can be a dense bituminous macadam, can be a bituminous macadam. We will later on talk about what is bituminous spores, what is DBM, what is BM. Now, how the bitumen is obtained from petroleum crude? The most of the bitumen currently used are obtained from refinery crude oils. Crude composite varies with sources. Hence, the quality and quantity of the bitumen proclaimed varies with the source of crude. The residual bitumen content can vary from 1% to 60% depending on the crude type. We saw here the residue which is left at bottom. This may vary from 1 to 60%. The paraffin crude yield the waxy bitumen. This kind of crude is obtained from India, the Bombay and Gujarat ports. So we can say that the crude obtained from Indian refineries, or the residue obtained from Indian refineries, where the crude which is used from Bombay and Gujarat, they are not producing the required quality of bitumen, but the crude available from Assam and Middle East, they yield good bitumen. The refining of petroleum crude is done by fractional distillation, which we have already discussed. The separation of various crude fractions at different boiling points. The bitumen is made up of, or the constituents of bitumen are actually asphaltenes, resins, and oils. So this is what bitumen is, containing asphaltenes, resins, and oils. Bitumen is a viscoelastic material, means its viscosity or its properties depend on temperature and rate of loading. Average pavement temperature is around 25%. The maximum temperature in India can go up to 60, sorry, not 25%, it is 25 degrees Celsius. The maximum temperature of pavement may go up to 60 degrees Celsius, and the mixing temperature of bitumen with aggregate is around 135 degrees Celsius. So at all these temperature, the bitumen should have the desired properties. So we will talk about the properties of bitumen at all these temperatures, and we will discuss how these values can be written or can be quoted in terms of gradations. So let us move into testing of bitumen. We need bitumen of desired qualities. So how we test these bitumen or the bitumen according to our required properties. So first property is bitumen should be pure, the purity. The pure bitumen dissolves completely in carbon disulfide. The percentage insoluble material indicate the purity of the material. If it is not completely dissolved in the solvent, this means it is not pure. The maximum value should be 99% or a desired quality. Then the bitumen should be free from water. Bitumen should not contain water in it. If it contains water, at higher temperature it will cause foaming, which is not desirable. That's why we restrict the water content in bitumen to 0.2% by weight. So these are the two qualities which bitumen should have, which will tell us about the purity. Then the maximum accidents which occur with bitumen is because of its safety. So let us talk about the safety. As bitumen is heated at higher temperatures, we have already seen bitumen is mixed, pumped, sprayed at a temperature of 135 degrees Celsius. The mixing temperature of bitumen is around 160 degrees Celsius. So at this temperature, is bitumen safe to use? Because you know that it is a part of crude, and crude or hydrocarbons have volatile gases which may burn very easily. So in order to find out the temperature at which the bitumen will produce enough vapors to produce a spark or to produce a fire, we perform this flash and fire point test. For bitumen, this test is done using Penske-Martin's apparatus. What is this apparatus? In this apparatus, we have a thermometer, we have a blade rotating shaft, and we have heating arrangement. So the temperature is raised. There is a slit present here. Otherwise, this chamber is totally free of any air leakage. So this chamber has an opening. Now, as the temperature is rising, we are stirring using the stirrer. It is mixing. Now, at different temperature, we lit a matchstick and place it near this opening. If there is any flash because of this the presence of this fire or presence of this matchstick, there is any flash, we mark that temperature as flash point. This means flash point means there is enough vapors available at this temperature that may cause a flash. Now we keep on doing this experiment until we find continuous fire from this stick when we put a matchstick. This continuous fire tells us about that there is enough vapor which may produce continuous fire, and that temperature is noted as fire point. So we have flash point and fire point. Flash point gives us a flash and fire points gives us a continuous burn. So those temperatures are measured and we try to keep the burning temperature or the mixing temperature of this bitumen 50 degrees Celsius below the flash point. This is how we can maintain the safety. So this is flash and fire point test. Then we have consistency of bitumen. Consistency tells us about how the bitumen is. Is it soft, it is hard, or if it is workable or not. So this consistency is the test which we follow in order to account for consistency is penetration test and softening point test. Penetration test is also one of the tests which is used for gradation of your bitumen. Gradation means to label or to classify bitumen in different types. Penetration test is done at 27 degrees Celsius, in which bitumen is placed in the mold. This mold is placed at 27 degrees centigrade, and a needle having a weight of around 100 grams is allowed to penetrate for 5 seconds. The penetration value of this needle is taken and is quoted as penetration rate. Now, the unit of penetration is 1 by 10 mm. Let us say the penetration was 9 mm. This means penetration value is 1 by 10 mm means 90 mm. 90 penetration value. So this value lies between 80 to 100. This is the gradation of this pavement which is having a penetration value of 90 mm. Let us say one of the aggregate or one of the sample is giving you a penetration value of 3.6 mm. What is the penetration value? It is 36 penetration value. This is lying between 30 to 40. So the gradation about that particular bitumen is, it is 30-40 grade bitumen, or the bitumen which we have seen earlier is 80-100 grade bitumen. So this is how the gradation of bitumen is done. The next we have the softening point test. It is the time period or the temperature value at which the softening of bitumen takes place. In this test, a beaker taken filled with water, arrangement placed. There are two plates. This is the bottom plate, this is the up plate. The up plate have the space to place ring. It is a ring which is filled with bitumen. There are two rings which are filled with bitumen. Now these two rings are placed here which are filled with bitumen. A steel ball of diameter around 5 mm is placed on these rings, and the temperature is started to rise. There is a stirrer which stirs this whole assembly. The height difference between the two plates, one on which these rings are placed and the bottom plate, is around 2.54 centimeter. This arrangement is known as ring and ball apparatus. The ring in which bitumen is filled, the ball, steel ball in which is placed on it. Now the softening point is the temperature. We have placed a thermometer here in order to count for temperature. The softening point is that temperature in which these balls through this bitumen will touch the lower plate. These balls through this bitumen touch the lower plate. Ring is actually kind of ring which is having opening from both the sides. It is placed on a greased paper and filled with bitumen and cooled down in order to keep the bitumen fixed. Now it is placed, the temperature is raised by 5 degrees per minute, and then softening point is measured, or the temperature at which this bitumen along with the ball touches a plate which is 2.54 centimeter beneath is measured. So this is how softening point is measured. Next is ductility test. Ductility test is performed in order to see the flexibility of the or ductility of the bitumen. It is placed, bitumen is placed into a briquette of kind of this shape. Bitumen is filled in it. It has jaws. Now this briquette has an area of 1 square centimeter. The test is done at a temperature of 27 degrees Celsius, in which these briquettes are fixed between the jaws and these are stretched apart. One of the edge is fixed, another edge is taken apart at a rate of 5 centimeter per minute. Now the ductility value is the length of this string. Now if it is taken apart, it will form a thin string. It is the total length of string at the time of the string breaks. This test is done at 27 degrees Celsius. Now the IRC recommends that the minimum value of this ductility should be 75 centimeter. The total length should be more than 75 centimeter, because at working temperature This is the desired ductility. One is Frass breaking point. This Frass breaking point is the test which is done on the bitumen, which is to be used at lower temperatures, the temperature below 0 degrees Celsius. In colder areas, we will use bitumen. The bitumen will become brittle, and we don't want that brittle bitumen to be fragile. So in order to do, or in order to test that bitumen, a thin film of 0.5 mm thickness is cracked at, or it is flexed, and it is seen whether it will crack or not. So the flexing at lower temperature, which tells us about whether this bitumen will be workable or not at lower temperatures. So this is Frass breaking point. Now the next test, very important test, is viscosity. Viscosity of bitumen is also used for viscosity gradation. As we have seen penetration test, which is used for gradation using penetration value, similarly the viscosity is used for viscosity gradation. Efflux viscometer is used for measuring the viscosity. This is a test in which a mold is filled with bitumen, and this mold has an orifice. Now the testing temperature is around 25 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius. The orifice size is around 3 to 10 mm. We calculate the time taken by this bitumen of around 50 ml to flow through this mold in this container beneath. The viscosity is measured in terms of time. This is the viscosity test which is done on the bitumen. For gradation, the bitumen is tested at a temperature of 60 degrees Celsius for dynamic viscosity and at 135 degrees Celsius for kinematic viscosity. We will talk about it later on, but this is the basic test which we do on bitumen. The specific gravity of bitumen is also measured using pycnometer. Pycnometer is not that pycnometer of 900 ml, but it is the pycnometer of very small volume, around this much only. So this pycnometer is used to calculate the specific gravity of this bitumen. This specific gravity is measured at 27 degrees Celsius. The specific gravity range of bitumen is around 0.97 to 1.02 value. So this is the specific gravity. Before going to the gradation, let's go back and see what are the tests which we saw. One was purity test, one for soluble material, insoluble material, and water. Then we saw flash and fire point test, which is done using Penske-Martin apparatus in order to find flash point and fire point. Then we saw penetration test, which is used to produce gradation of the bitumen. The softening point test also tells us about the consistency of bitumen along with this penetration test, and this is done using ring and ball apparatus. Then we saw the ductility test, which helps us to find out the ductility value or the stretchability of the aggregate at different gradations. This test is done at 27 degrees Celsius. The Frass breaking point test is performed for bitumen which is to be used at lower temperatures. Then viscosity test is done for all the bitumens in order to check the viscosity at 25 to 40 degrees Celsius. Specific gravity test is done using pycnometer, and it is helpful in order to find out the specific gravity. We will see how the specific gravity value is used to calculate the required binder content in the mix. Now let us move on to the gradation. In cement or in concrete, we say M20 grade. Now this gradation M20 mix 20 means this is done on the basis of characteristic strength of concrete, or you can call it as compressive strength of concrete. Means there are some quantities or qualities which helps you to produce gradations. Similarly, these quantities or qualities are used for producing gradation in bitumen. First one is penetration grade. Penetration grade is obtained from penetration test. This penetration test is done at 25 degrees Celsius. The gradation such as S35, S45, S90 are produced. Here S denotes the type of bitumen, like S denotes here the straight run. Means there is no mixing. Then 35 denotes the penetration value. Means if your penetration value for a kind of bitumen is between 30 to 40, then we can call that bitumen as S35 graded. If a bitumen having penetration value between 40 to 50, that bitumen, if it is a straight run bitumen, can be called as S45. You can tell me in comment box what this bitumen will having the penetration value. If I write S90, what does 90 means? Please write in the comment box. Then other type of gradations which were required, because penetration grade was not giving us the temperature susceptibility, means how the temperature will impact the penetration value, because this is done at 25 degrees Celsius only. We were having constant temperature for different bitumen, but how the temperature is changing the quality of bitumen, this was not known through penetration gradation. The Superpave gradation classifies the bitumen according to its performance at extremely hot condition and as well as extremely cold temperatures. This performance grade is quoted as this. This is the example. PG gives you the performance grade. 64 here denotes the highest temperature or the maximum temperature where the performance grade is measured, and 16 degree Celsius is the temperature which is the coldest temperature. So if you want to use any bitumen in an area where temperature variation ranges from 64 degrees Celsius to 16 degrees Celsius, this PG grade 6416 is suitable one. Now the viscosity is used to grade your bitumen. The viscosity gradation is based upon the viscosity values at 60 degrees Celsius and 135 degrees Celsius. At 60 degrees Celsius, the dynamic viscosity is measured, whereas at 135 degrees Celsius, the kinematic viscosity is measured. As you know, dynamic viscosity is also known as absolute viscosity. So in exam, you may be asked that which viscosity is measured at 60 degrees Celsius or 135 degrees Celsius, which represents, this 60 degree represents the road temperature during summer, and 135 degrees Celsius represent the mixing temperature. So based upon these values, we denote the value Vg30 for viscosity grade. Here this Vg means viscosity grade, this 20 we can write the viscosity grades are Vg10, Vg20, Vg30, Vg40. Here these values denotes the value of viscosity in poise at 6 degrees Celsius. For example, VG20. VG20 means 100 plus minus 20 multiplied by 20. This is the absolute viscosity at 6 degrees Celsius. Let us calculate. It is 80 multiplied by 20 to 120 multiplied by 20. This is 1600 poise to 2400 poise value. It is same for all these. So this is the range of your viscosity for this VG20 bitumen at 60 degrees Celsius. This is how VG gradation is done, and it is extensively used these days. Now, as we know, the penetration grade bitumen was not capable of giving the temperature susceptibility for the bitumen. There is a relation which we can use in order to find the temperature susceptibility. At different temperatures, we can plot graph between your temperature value and your log penetration value. This graph will be kind of straight line where this cutoff value can be known as constant K, and the slope here can be denoted as A. And this equation of line can be written as log penetration is equals to A times temperature, that is on x-axis, plus A. This is y equals to mx plus c. Here the A value tells us about the temperature susceptibility, the slope of this curve. This is how we can include the penetration grade bitumen, and we can include the temperature susceptibility in penetration grade bitumen. Now let us see what is a cutback. When we say straight run bitumen, the bitumen which is not mixed with any other solvent or water, that is a straight run bitumen. But if a straight run bitumen or the residue is mixed with a volatile solvent to reduce its viscosity so that workability can be increased, then it is known as a cutback. And as it is written there, the viscosity of a straight run bitumen is lowered by volatile solvent. This low viscosity mix is known as a bituminous cutback. This eliminates the need of heating the bitumen. When we require bitumen at those areas where heating is not an option, then cutback can be used. After the application of that mix or bitumen cutback, the volatile solvent will evaporate, which will left behind the bitumen. This cutback can be defined on the basis of curing. Curing means evaporation of the solvent from the cutback. If we want rapid curing, means the solvent evaporates quickly, then we can use naphtha or gasoline as the solvent. As we know, naphtha and gasoline are the highest order or the highest constituent in the fractional distillation. They have the lowest boiling point. If we need medium curing, we can use kerosene. If we need slow curing, then we can use diesel or lubrication oil as solvent. Sometimes the waste engine oil is also used for reducing the viscosity of your bitumen. Cutbacks are only used in special conditions. because they create some hazard in the environment. Now, because of this hazard, we can consider one another option which is comparatively environment friendly. That is known as emulsion. You know that the suspension of anything into water, suspension of oil into water or suspension of bitumen into water with the help of kind of emulsifier is known as bitumen. Emulsion contains bitumen globules. These bitumen globules are charged with surface charge because of the added emulsifier. Because of the similar charge on the surface, they do not settle down or come closer. They remain in suspension. When a layer of aggregate which is opposite charge or which is having opposite charge is brought near to these globules, they got attracted and get fixed on that surface. Now you can understand we are using water as a medium to carry these globules. After the application of these globules on the aggregate surface, the water will evaporate at its own time. So bitumen of around 50 to 75%, emulsifier depending on the requirement, and water are mixed in a rotator of around 1000 to 6000 rpm. This will break this bitumen into globules, and each globule will be imparted charge by the emulsifier. This will help, the rotating will help the emulsifier to get bitumen into suspension. This emulsifier put the electric charge, and due to this electric charge, the emulsion can be classified as anionic, which is negatively charged, cationic, which is positively charged, and non-ionic, which is neutral. Out of this, the cationic emulsion is mostly used. The cationic emulsion can further be classified into rapid setting, medium setting, and slow setting. Similar to the curing process, as we said, when the solvent evaporates, this is known as rapid curing. Evaporates quickly, this is known as rapid curing. Similarly, when the aggregate attracts the bitumen and the bitumen globules settle on these aggregates quickly, rapidly, then it is known as rapid setting. This is suitable for surface dressing or patch repairing, because where we cannot stop the traffic for long, we have to keep the quick response of this globules to attract with the aggregates. Then medium setting, when where premix is used with lesser fines, and slow setting where premix is used. Premix means you mix it beforehand with larger particles. So these are the location where emulsion can be used. The emulsion is not environmentally hazardous. This can be used with less restrictions. Now let us talk about the mixes. Earlier we are talking about the bitumen only. Now let us mix this bitumen with aggregates and form a mix which can be used at various levels in flexible paper. Bitumen mix is a mixture of bitumen and aggregate. It is also known as hot mix design, HMA, because bitumen and aggregates are heated and mixed at a temperature of 135 degrees Celsius. Here I am not talking about the cutbacks or emulsions. Here I am talking about the regular process which is used to mix the aggregates. There are different type of layers where the bitumen mix can be used. One is bituminous macadam, dense bituminous macadam. These bituminous macadams are specific layers of bituminous mix which is used for providing strength to the pavement. Whereas the bituminous concrete, the BC cores or semi-dense bituminous concrete are the surface cores which provide the rideability only. They generally do not participate in load transfer or strengthening of the pavement. Then we may have this premix carpet, the surface dressing also. The bituminous macadam are used for binder courses, and the bituminous concrete and semi-dense bituminous concrete are used as surface courses. This binder course is provided above the base and below the surface. This is base course, the surface course, and this is the binder course. From bituminous mix, what are our requirements? Bituminous mix should be having stability, means it should allow a large traffic load, or it can sustain a higher traffic load. It should be flexible, it should be durable, it should be fatigue resistant, there should be hardness on the surface or skin resistance. The mix should be impermeable, because if it allows water through it, it will allow the water to percolate through the soil, and which will decrease the bearing capacity. The mix should be workable. If it is not workable, it is tight, we are not able to use it, we are not able to apply it, it is of no use. So these are the basic requirements: stability, durability, impermeability, workability, flexibility, fatigue resistance, and skin resistance. So let us see what are the constituents which we mix, or what are the constituents which are mixed to make bituminous mix. Coarse aggregate, the aggregates with the size more than 2.36 mm. Generally, for Marshall mix design, which we are going to see in coming slides, the maximum size of aggregate is around 25 mm. These coarse aggregate are generally from granite rocks, and these granite rocks helps us to offer compressive strength and shows interlocking properties. As we know, the flexible pavement distributes the load using the particle to particle contact. This provides, the coarse aggregate provides the compressive strength, shear strength, and because of the irregularity or angularity of these aggregates, it provides interlocking property. Then the fines are used to fill the voids of concrete coarse aggregates and to stiff the binders. These fines are generally from sand. Then to fill the voids present further, the voids which are smaller, the fillers are used. Fillers can be sand dust, rock dust, lime, cement. The fine aggregates are of size between 2.36 mm and 75 micron, while these fillers are of size less than 75 micron. And we use binder. Binder fills the remaining voids and it coats the aggregate in order to provide the cohesion or adhesion. It also makes the pavement impermeable, because we cannot allow water to pass through. The bitumen is generally 4 to 6% out of the mix. Others are the aggregates only. Now, the gradation or the dry mix, which is mixture of your dry constituents, this is done by dry mix design. Through this, we determine the amount of various size of mineral aggregates to be used to get maximum density. It involves the selection of aggregate, the aggregate gradation, and proportion of aggregates. We have already seen the 0.5 power law, which can provide us the desired dense gradation. Now, after this gradation is done, we need the binder content is to be used. So, the binder content or the optimum binder content can be used or can be calculated by using wet mix design. In general, we have Marshall mix design, we have beam mix design, and we have super pave mix design. Generally, in India, the Marshall mix design method is the most popular one. So let us discuss Marshall mix design and see how the optimum binder content is calculated. So here the Marshall mix design is used to determine the optimum binder content. In this Marshall mix design, around 1200 grams of mix is taken. This mix is compacted by 50 blows on each side, and a mold or a specimen is prepared. This specimen is cylindrical specimen. It is a cylindrical specimen. This specimen is prepared using different bitumen content. Like we have the gradation. Out of this 1200, we start with 3% of bitumen. Then we increase the bitumen content to 3.5%. Then we increase the bitumen content by 4% to 4%. Then we increase this content by 4.5%. So for different bitumen content, we make different specimen. Now these specimen, which is cylindrical specimen, this is placed in Marshall mix design machine. These are the jaws which are made to fix the mold between it diametrically. So this mold is placed diametrically. Now these jaws are allowed to compress or apply load on this specimen diametrically. This mold is loaded at a rate of 50.8 mm per minute. Means this is a strain control test, and this test is done at 60 degrees Celsius. Means for some time this mold is submerged in water at 60 degrees Celsius, then for 3 to 4 hours, then this test is done. The result of this test give you stability value and flow value. Stability value is the maximum load which the specimen can take in diametric dilation. direction. Stability is the maximum load in kg. So we can draw graph between bituminous content and stability. We will have different bitumen content. We will see what maximum load can, let us say 3% of bitumen will take. This is noted. Then we'll again check for another content with increased value of bitumen, then another, and after some time this graph will increase. The maximum value of stability is noted and the corresponding binder content is also noted, and let us call it as BC1, bituminous content 1. What we are intended to do, we are intended to calculate the amount of bitumen or optimum amount of bitumen which should be used in binder mix or bituminous mix. Then the second value which we calculate is flow. Flow value is actually the deformation which has a unit of around 0.25 mm. Means if you have a deformation of 4 mm, this will give you a flow value of 16. The minimum stability value is around 320 kg recommended by our IRC. The minimum flow value is between 8 to 16, or the flow value should be 8 to 16. The binder content corresponding to maximum stability is taken as BC1. The binder content corresponding to this bulk specific gravity is taken as BC2. And the binder content corresponding to 4% air voids is taken as BC3. Binder content 3. Now these three values, BC1 plus BC2 plus BC3, are averaged out, and the average value is taken as actual optimum binder content. So from this test arrangement, we have calculated the BC1 value. Now with the help of volumetrics, we will calculate these properties, and through these properties for each mix we will calculate the BC2 and BC3 value. Let us see how these values are calculated. Let us see if I take this box as a representation for your mix. Let us say this is your coarse aggregate, these are your fine aggregates, these are your fillers, these are your binder or bitumen, and this is your air. So this is the sample represented about a mix. It is called the weight of coarse aggregate as W1, the fine aggregate as W2, fillers as W3, bitumen as WB or W4. As air has no weight, it will be the volume. This is volume of air, or E5, E4, B3, B2, and this is 1. If we say this content, this is actually the voids. Half or some voids are filled with your bitumen and some voids are actually free. So these are your volume of voids, these are volume of solids. So this is what we are going to use in order to calculate the values First, let us see the theoretical specific gravity of the mix. First is theoretical specific gravity of mix. Theoretical means we will calculate it, we will not find it, not measure it. So GT can be written as gamma theoretical divided by gamma water. This theoretical is the theoretical weight, and it can be written as weight divided by volume to gamma W. This weight, we can divide the weight as W1 plus W2 plus W3 plus W4, and we can here write it as 1 plus plus plus. Mind that there is no air consideration in theoretical specific mix. So let us write this point that air void are not considered. Theoretical specific gravity, air voids not considered. Okay. We have these values. Multiply 1 by gamma W. We can also write it as W1 plus, or let me write here only. I can reverse it and write it as whole divided by gamma W by 1. This whole divided by gamma W by 1. I know that if I say specific gravity of force aggregate, let us write it as G1 will be equals to G1 will be equals to W1 P1 multiplied by gamma W. So this equation, if I multiply the gamma W, I can remove it. Just write it what it was written only, 1 by gamma W. If I say 1 gamma W, so I can replace B1, or we will write it here, B1 gamma W as W1 by G1. So similarly, we can replace all the values. This is V into gamma W. We can replace all the values with this. We can write Dt is equals to W1 plus W2 plus W3 plus W4 divided by W1 by 1 plus W2 by G2 plus W3 by G3 plus W4 by G4. And this is your theoretical specific gravity. This value is your theoretical specific gravity. This is without consideration of your air voids. Now let us see the second value. The second value which we will see is bulk specific gravity. Bulk means mix. So it is very simple. The bulk specific gravity can be written as M. This will consider, if it is bulk, this will consider the volume of voids. So it is equals to Gm is equals to actually the weight of mix upon volume of mix, or the total volume multiplied by your unit weight of water. You can calculate your G m by gm by this method. Now, can you tell me which value is more, GT or GM? This GT, this is GM. As the volume, the numerator is weight. Weight both has weight of mix, means W1 plus W2 plus W3 plus W4. But the denominator, which is volume, in GM we have mixed volume which includes the air, while in GT we do not have volume of air. So we can say that if the denominator of GM is higher, means higher volume, then the volume of GM is comparatively less than GT. And using these two values, we can calculate the value of percentage air voids. What we have? The percentage air voids. So the percentage air voids can be calculated as this third, third, percentage air voids this can be calculated as, you know that GT minus GM on GT value. So this is how the percentage air void in the mix can be calculated. Out of the total volume, what is the percentage of voids, air voids present there? This can be calculated using this calculation. Now let us calculate the volume of bitumen or the void filled with bitumen, known as VFA, not A, it is B. VF, volume voids filled with bitumen, VFB. So this can be calculated, as weight of bitumen divided by specific gravity of bitumen, total weight divided by specific gravity. Or you can write it as W4% multiply by this is mix by P4. This is how PP percent can be calculated. In total mix, how much bitumen percent? This can be calculated using your initial gradation. We know how much bitumen we have used by percentage. Finally, we want voids in mineral aggregate. Voids in mineral aggregates. VM. So total voids in mineral aggregates are actually the voids due to air and voids filled with bitumen. These are the total volume of mineral aggregates. This is the percent. If we want to write it specifically in terms of the volume, we can write it as volume of V by V. This is the percentage what we have written here, VV by V into 100, or it can be written as VMA values are VA, sorry, VV plus V divided by V 200. This is how you can calculate the value of voids in mineral aggregates for a particular mix. What we need this, because the bituminous content corresponding to 4% air voids is our optimum bitumen content, or BC3 value, which we have already seen what is BC3. Similarly, this value gives us the BC2 value, because the maximum value corresponding to any bituminous content is your GM maximum, which will be calculated from this calculation. According to IRC, this value should be in between 3 to 5% in a solution, and void filled with bitumen should be around 75 to 85%. So this is the specification calculation which can be used. Now let us see some relation between bitumen content and different parameters. Let us say first this is bitumen content. We know that different bitumen values or percentage are used, like 3%, 3.5%, 4%, 4.5%, and so on. And here we have, first we will compare bitumen content with stability. We have already seen the graph, but we are making this graph, where we are making this graph along with other graphs. So this is stability value in kilograms. So this graph goes like this and comes down. So this value corresponding to maximum stability is taken as BC1. Similarly, the graph between the flow, which is the deformation, and the binder content goes like something, because with binder content the flow value increase. With increase in binder content, the fluidity will increase. So deformation can be taken at higher levels before failure. With the binder content, with increased binder content, the deformation can be taken to higher levels before failure. So next curve is about the GM value, that is your bulk specific gravity corresponding to your bitumen content. It is similar to your stability curve. It will first increase and then decrease. Let us understand this curve, why this is happening. The stability value and flow value are given from the machines, but these values are calculated using the volumetric analysis. Now we know that as binder content is increased, till here we are replacing, should I write it here? We are replacing air with binder. Till we reach up to here, what we are doing, we are filling the voids with bitumen. Now if there is a sample which has air voids and they are replaced with bitumen, bitumen has higher specific gravity, so it will add up to the mixed specific gravity. So this is why the binder, increase in binder is providing you the increase in specific gravity of mix. But after a certain time, the bitumen tries to replace your aggregate, because at that point most of the voids are filled. Now the binder will replace the aggregate if it is increased in the fixed volume. If we say there is only 1200 grams of sample or a specific volume of sample, then if the volume is specific, the specific content will come in this volume. Now, if we want to add more bitumen, we have to remove the aggregate if no further voids are left. So after that, a higher specific gravity material, that is 2.7 specific gravity for aggregates, is replaced by a binder which is having a specific gravity of 0.1.02. So there, the specific gravity of the mix will decrease because the content with higher specific gravity is removed or replaced with the content with lower specific gravity. Let us see another curve. Volume of voids, air voids with bitumen content. You know that volume of air void will decrease and volume corresponding to 4% air void giving you bitumen content or optimum bitumen content. Similar this value, this is your optimum bitumen content. And finally, we will see a graph between voids and mineral aggregate and bituminous content. So voids and mineral aggregate will, okay, this is not voids and mineral aggregate, this is void filled with bitumen. So as the bitumen content is increased, the void filled with bitumen will increase. These are some characteristic graphs for your Marshall mix design for stability flow, your bulk specific gravity, volume of air voids and BFP. Now this optimum binder content corresponding to air voids, corresponding to your specific gravity and corresponding to stability value is taken, and the average value is used to calculate your optimum binder content. So this is how the gradation of aggregate is done. This is how the binder properties are checked, and finally the mixed is prepared. So till now we have covered the payment material properties. From next lecture we will talk about the payment design. So thank you so much.